I want to talk a little bit about some professional development activities that I had as a consequence of being first the director of the Center for Educational Technologies, and then when that merged with CITES, some activities as a consequence of that. Let me begin by talking about the EDUCAUSE National Conference, the annual conference that has about, I think, 7,000 people at it, and is something of a meat market. And for that reason, I avoided it until I was actually encouraged to go, and I have a link to the Indianapolis conference that was in 2001, which, if Leslie Hammersmith is at the meeting, she can tell you about this really odd meeting we had with the CIC schools and WebCT. It was the first unveiling of the WebCT Enterprise Course Management System strategy, and it was a very strange meeting. It was an interesting conference to go to. I've since become kind of a regular at these conferences, and let me kind of tick off the benefits. If you meet people in other contexts professionally, they're apt to be at the national conference, so it's a way to reconnect with them. If you do work with vendors, the vendors are apt to be there, so it's a way to connect with them. And also, occasionally, you can find out things that are going on from places that you wouldn't otherwise connect to because they're not in the Midwest. So that's kind of the benefit of the national conference. Let me talk next about CNI, which is something most of you have probably never heard of. That's the Coalition for Networked Information. It is a joint library and information technology organization, and it deals with projects that span those two groups. I got involved with it, I think, in 2002 and 2003 when they were beginning to talk about institutional repositories, and I first went with Beth Sandor to the conference. I think I went a couple of years to that conference. You have a different type of presentation and conversation, and if you're involved with anything that crosses over to the library, CNI is kind of an interesting organization to be involved with. My personally favorite professional development activity that I had was the Fry Leadership Institute, which I went to jointly with Lisa Hinchliffe in 2003. It's hard to get into that, so it's kind of a competitive environment, and you have to be recommended by your institution and endorsed, and at most campus will get 1 or 2 people per year to go to it. But if you can get to it, it is really great. It's 2 full weeks of intense activities devoted. About 90% of the people are IT or library, and then about 10% are faculty or other type of administrators, and it covers the whole scope of what the university is about, trying to give you as the IT leader a bigger picture of the university. It is really a great thing, and the colleagues I've met there I've kept since. One other link I have here might be obscure to you. I was a member of an EDUCAUSE group called 2020, and I've linked to the listserv. If you can get into some EDUCAUSE organization or committee, you will meet other peers. Their interaction with them is great professional development for you, and doing work on behalf of EDUCAUSE or other national organizations is probably a great way for anybody here to improve their thinking and to actually develop a different set of colleagues. And then I do want to talk about professional development on campus. As a consequence of being in CITES, I was on numerous campus committees, met a lot of people, developed good peer relationships with quite a few of them. So interactions locally are important too, and I don't want to underemphasize those.